Mackenzie Blackwood was dominant as the Sharks lose 2-1 in a shootout to the Colorado Avalanche. So we're going to discuss Blackwood's night, check in on the very unsustainable play of the Sharks, and how the Barracuda did in their opening weekend. So all that and more on today's episode.
You're Locked On Sharks, your daily podcast on the San Jose Sharks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, welcome to Locked On Sharks, the premier hockey podcast covering your favorite team in the Bay Area. My name is JD Young, contributor at Inside the Rink, and I want to thank you for making Locked On Sharks your first listen, probably a part of the Locked On Network. We cover your team every day, and if you want to be an everydayer, all you have to do is just follow along wherever you get podcasts, or you can subscribe on YouTube as well. And we're going to be discussing, of course, Mackenzie Blackwood in his dominant debut with the Sharks, stopping 51 of 52 shots, but the Sharks unfortunately losing in a shootout to the Avs. We're going to dig into the numbers of this game and how dominant the Avs actually were in this game. It was ridiculous once you pull up the stats, and check it on the Barracuda as they had their opening weekend where they split, went 1-1. Lost 7-2. Friday night turnaround and won 7-2 against the Ice Hogs. So we're going to kind of check in with them and what we can kind of gain from that. So before we get into everything, do want to let you guys know that today's episode is brought to you guys by Sleeper. Download Sleeper app and use promo code LOCKEDONNHL to get a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. So Mackenzie Blackwood, this is what you hoped, right? You could not have expected a better performance out of him. And we talked about it, when the Sharks acquired him, how he was a awesome, number one goaltender before COVID, and injuries have really hampered him. He says he's 100% and he showed it on Saturday. And yes, I thought in preseason, Kaapo Kähkönen looked better than Mackenzie Blackwood, but right now it's Mackenzie Blackwood's job, I think, especially after that performance. Would not be surprised if Blackwood is the starter on Tuesday night when the Sharks play again. I think you got to roll him back out there, but just absolutely insanity. Just the types of saves he was making in his rebound control. Very little, kind of letting Colorado kind of get those second chances. There was a couple where the defenseman bailed him out. Matt Benning and Jan Ruda both had just get the puck out of there type of moments. But that's what happens. Sometimes you get a little bit lucky, but Mackenzie Blackwood was stellar. Money Puck does a great, goals saved above expected and a bunch of their stats, stuff like that. Mackenzie Blackwood is number one in the NHL in goals saved above expected right now at 4.5. He's played one game. Aiden Hill is at number 2, Jordan Binnington number 3, Georgiev number 4, Grubauer number 5. All those guys have played at least 2 games. He is number 1 at 4.5 goals saved above expected. This is not 1,000% not sustainable, but it was a very, very fun night. It was good to see the tank enjoying this game, getting into this game. But 1,000, you cannot go out there and ask Blackwood to make 50 saves every night. You're going to run him into the ground, and a lot of those hitting the post or getting scraped, the defenseman kind of bailing you out there at the last second. Those aren't going to work every night, and those are going to become goals. But you tip your hat to Mackenzie Blackwood, who showed he's still got some gas in the tank. And you hear that all the time. I'm healthy. He's healthy, and this is what he could be for the Sharks. Be the answer, at least provide an answer for you in goal, is whether it's yes or no. But it looks like Mackenzie Blackwood right now looks like a yes for. I know it's one game. Aiden Hill, I think, started his career with but let's enjoy this because it was absolutely insane. So digging into his numbers, so 52 shots against, 51 saves, 1 goal. This is at all situations, right? Save percentage at 981, goals against average 0.92, high danger shots against 14, high danger saves 14, mid danger shots 8, mid danger saves 7, low danger shots 27 for 27 there. So the 1 goal, Cale Makar shot, and I don't think there was just so much traffic, and that's kind of what happened at the end of the game there, where the Avalanche were just pouring it on and trying to get the equalizer there. But the Sharks, it's kind of weird. Colorado, you would think for a team like Colorado with their high-powered offense that they would be one of the more dominant high dangers. No, they kind of take a lot of low danger shots, and then they feel like guys like McKinnon and Rantanen, and those guys are just bigger and stronger and faster. They're going to win kind of the matchups in front of the net, and you kind of saw that a lot tonight too, or on Saturday night. But Sharks did a good job of kind of continuing to keep things out for Mackenzie Blackwood. But Blackwood, again, was just on another level. Like, we have not seen goaltending like that in a while in San Jose. So, again, 1,000% not sustainable, right? You can't go out there and expect Blackwood and McKinnon and Kaapo Kähkönen to save 50 shots a night. But it's nice to know that if things like this happen where you have a team that is clearly a much superior team, you can kind of keep things interesting at least. So good for Mackenzie Blackwood. Hopefully this is the start of a great career in San Jose, especially after the struggles he's had with injuries over the past couple of years with the Devils. Let's don't wear him into the ground too quickly. That's the thing. So other kind of standouts, Nico Sturm was an absolute monster this whole night, especially on the penalty kill. The Sharks had that 5-on-3 penalty kill, and Nico Sturm put on a clinic on penalty killing. That fourth line, we'll get into the fourth line a little bit, but that fourth line of Sturm, Giovanni Smith, and Zetterlund, they are a no-nonsense. We're going to just get the puck. We're going to go. We're going to take as many good shots as we possibly can and just try to kind of outwork you. And that line, it's kind of a bit of identity, especially as the top 3 lines are shuffling here with injuries and some of the veterans trying to kind of figure things out, and some of the younger players still getting their footing. That fourth line, man, it's been a good line for the Sharks through 2 games, and it was we'll get into the numbers here in a little bit, but it was arguably their best line on Saturday night, as they're going to outwork you. They're going to out-physical you, and they're just going to go to the net and try to get some clean shots. And Zetterlund's going to score here soon. Like, he's been really close, and he probably deserved to score on Saturday night. But you're gonna see that line pop here soon. So, and then congratulations to Thomas Bordeleau, finally breaking the ice and getting that first goal. Very Joe Pavelski-like tip. Almost set up a William Eklund goal a little bit later in the game that McKinnon, basically, if he doesn't get a stick there the last second, William Eklund's probably scoring a goal there, and it's going to be 2-0 late into the game. So you see Bordeleau again, like, starting. He's trying defensively, like he's in the, trying to be responsible in his own zone. That's all you can ask for, especially for a guy at Bordeleau's stature, is you're going to have to just try as hard as you can. And I think you got to be, I know there was a little worry about Bordeleau coming into the season, but I think so far so good, especially with, it's him and Eklund, and then it's been, and Mike Hoffman on that line. And, you're going to have your rookie ups and downs. Remember, both these guys have played, between Eklund and Bordeleau, these guys have played, a combined 30 NHL games between the two of them. But you got to let them kind of figure things out and let them continue to develop and grow and get some chemistry, and just let them breathe without having to worry about getting sent down to the AHL like right away. So before we continue, we're going to actually dig into the stats a little bit more and then check in with the Barracuda. Just need to take a quick break here. And talk to you guys about our good friends at the Sleeper app. I use Sleeper. That's where I host one of my fantasy football leagues. But if you want to get into daily fantasy, this Sleeper is the way to go. Nothing better than watching a guy like Tomas Hertl score a hat trick. The Sharks win the Stanley Cup, which is not going to happen this year. But you could win 100 times your money by playing daily fantasy hockey on the Sleeper app. They're all possible scenarios for the season, except for the Sharks winning the Stanley Cup. But to have a chance to win big, you need to play daily fantasy hockey on Sleeper. As the official daily fantasy app of Locked On NHL Network, Sleeper is our top choice for daily fantasy sports, especially daily fantasy hockey. With Sleeper, you can win 100 times your cash in daily fantasy contests. They have great things like shot attempts, points, whatever hits, blocks, whatever you kind of find your fancy. They have, all you got to do is just pick over or under on these stats. Again, stats like goals, assists, plus minus. You heard me, Sharks fans, 100 times payout on Sleeper. To start paying attention and get your picks right so you could win big, use promo code Locked On NHL and you'll get a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. That's Locked On NHL. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. All right. What did the numbers say? The numbers say that Colorado absolutely dominated this game. Usually we look at 5-on-5 stats, but in this case, I'm going to pull up some of the all situations. So power play, penalty kill, everything, right? The Avs had 111 shot attempts in 65 minutes compared to the Sharks 57. 111. You can't get away with doing that. Actual shots on goal, I guess we know, was 52 to 21. 49 scoring chances to 33 for the Avs, 23 to 11 for high danger chances. Expected goals, again, these are all even strength right now, 505 to 3. Absolutely insane numbers that the Colorado, and just bad puck luck, right? Digging into the actual 5-on-5 numbers, it was 79 to 36 in favor of the Avs. Shots were 36 to 15. Scoring chances were 32 to 23. High danger chances were 17 to 8, and then 3.46 to 1.76 expected goals, all in favor of the Avs. Interesting with the scoring chances, where even though the Sharks, again, it's still 32 to 23, but that number is a lot closer than you would expect, especially for the way the Avs pushed the pace of this game and kind of controlled this game, right? The Sharks, last year they did a good job of creating a lot of high danger chances. This year it feels like a lot of the same thing, where they're going to create solid scoring chances, solid high danger chances. It's just, can you capitalize on them? And we'll see where that forward depth comes in. But I have a feeling this is probably we're going to see from the Sharks a lot in this season, is them, quality over quantity, but them kind of having to deal with long stretches of play where you kind of get caved in, as they got caved in last night. And it's Mackenzie Blackwood was 1,000% outstanding, and deserves his flowers for the way he performed. But you can't expect to play like that every night and win games regularly, and they didn't even win this game. So let's dig into the line. So again, keep in mind the numbers, like the shot attempts and everything like that. The Avs poured it on to the Sharks in this game, at least when it came to creating chances, creating shots. So the Duclair, Hertl, Zadina line played 10:06 at 5-on-5. The most, they had 9 shot attempts, gave up 18. Was mostly matched up against the McKinnon line. That's one shot for 10 allowed. Yikes, a little bit tough there. Expected goals 4.15 to 0.42. Expected goals did have 6 scoring chances, 4 allowed, 2 high danger, gave up 3. With mostly they had 3, 4, 5 for their zone starts. So 3 offensive, 4 neutral, and 5 defensive zone starts. Again, a lot of defensive zone starts as the Sharks were stuck in their own zone for a good chunk of this game. The Zetterlund, Sturm, Giovanni Smith line played 748, 5 shot attempts, gave up 7. So that was the closest out of all of them. Shots for was 4-1. So they actually outshot the other line that they were on. Expected goals 4.36 to 0.07. So again, when they did a good job of kind of dictating terms a little bit, that line. And I'll be interested to see if that line maybe turns into the third line, or if maybe they get a little bit more run, or maybe it's one of those things where we kind of know what their role is and let them kind of stick with their role without having to ask too much of them. So 3-2 for the scoring chances, 1-0 for them for high danger chances, and then 1-4-5 for the zone starts. Barabanov, Peterson, and Cunnin played 7 minutes time on ice. 6 shot attempts, 4, gave up 13. Actual shots was 2-5. Expected goals for was 0.3 to 0.2, so pretty close there, where they actually provided more expected goals. 4 to 6 scoring chances, 2 to 1 high danger chances, and then 1-1-7. So they had basically all defensive zone starts for that line. And Cunning's still an interesting guy because like you can see his value, especially like on the PK and stuff. And he does, it's like he gets open, he gets in great spots, but I don't know if he's got the hands to kind of be able to capitalize on it. It's almost like watching Noah Gregor and Noah Gregor go burr, right? But he can't shoot with Matt Nieto kind of combined, like Matt Nieto's defensive skills combined. And that's kind of what Luke Cunnin feels like to me right now, is that like inability to shoot like Noah Gregor, but I can like at least Matt Nieto, like if Matt Nieto got in the open, right, you knew he had a good chance of scoring. He had a little bit of touch on him. So yeah, that's what Luke Cunnin feels like right now. So we'll see. It looks like Peterson's gonna get a little bit of run here, especially with Granlund going on IR. So the Sharks forward depth has really kind of taken a hit here with Couture and Granlund both on IR, and that's kind of given it a little bit of a runway for the young players like Peterson now and for Thomas Bordeleau. So Eklund, Bordeleau, Hoffman play 634. 5 to 10 shot attempts. Actual shots was 3-3. Did have the goal. 0.13 expected goals, 4 to 0.29. 2 to 4 scoring chances. 1 to 2 high danger chances. 2-1-3. So a little bit more sheltered than the rest, but at least when it came to zone starts. So, I think with them, I like I know the Eklund Bordeleau. We know the chemistry there with them playing on the Barracuda. It'll be interesting to see if Hoffman kind of continues there, or if they try to find somebody else. I still think Hoffman could be a pretty good fit there. I wouldn't be surprised maybe we see Duclair there too. Again, another guy who can kind of score. But I mean, the Sharks are going to be playing the Canes next, and that Hurricanes defense is no joke as well. So it'll be interesting to see what Quinn does to try to generate some more offense, because again, you can't, and especially a team like the Hurricanes, who kind of the Corsi Kings, right? They know possessing, shooting, usually that leads to good things. You can't live in a world where you're giving up 52 shots in a game and expect to not get blown out night in, night out. So before we continue and we look at the Barracuda's opening weekend, a lot of positives. I know they got waxed on Friday night 7-2, but then they came back strong on Saturday afternoon with a 7-2. So we're gonna look at that, kind of talk about the Ozzy hit and kind of how the game unraveled from there, and just talking about once they start getting some more players back, how good this Barracuda team could actually be. But before we do that, I need to talk to you guys about our good friends over at eBay. And Passion, drive, patience. What brings home the winning trophy is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level up to peak performance, from superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered with over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die. You always find exactly what you're looking for with eBay Guaranteed Fit. Your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time, or your money back, because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home that win. So keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guarantee Fit only available to U.S. customers. All right, so the Barracuda opened their weekend, like I said, with a 7-2 loss to the Rockford Ice Hogs on Friday, and then came back and won 7-2. So a nice 0-goal differential after the end of the weekend. And I think you have to be like, let's start with the Friday game. And yes, the score looks way worse than what actually happened in this game. And you can point to, I mean, before the Ozzy, like kind of before the Ozzy hit and then after the Ozzy hit. And the Cuda, yes, they were down 2-1, but there were some really great plays that on the goals there. The defense was a little bit out of sorts and wasn't tracking, especially because Rockford, they're very like rush. We're going to rush, and we think we can make some nice cross-ice passes and get your goalie having to move laterally. And that's what they did. That's how they scored a bunch of their goals. But the Barracuda were kind of actually, after the beginning of the game, they were kind of getting back into it and were definitely kind of controlling the pace of play. It was 2-1 before the Ozzy hit, and it felt like the Cuda were about ready to kind of really crawl back, like kind of get back into this game and tie it up at some point. Ozzy Wiesblatt gets off the bench and basically just railroads a dude. Doesn't have the puck, like a terrible hit. And if you think that hit is okay, like I don't know what to tell you, man. That guy, if it was the other way around, you'd want that guy's pike on a head outside of Texas Arena. Like yes, you want players like Ozzy, you want them to play with an edge and stuff like that. But like that was a dumb play by Ozzy, and it hurt his team. Right, Ozzy gets kicked out of the game. The Barracuda have to go on a 5-minute major penalty kill, and they give up 2 goals, and then they're basically chasing the game from there. And that's how when you're trying to push for offense, you can't worry about defense. And Ice Hogs put up 7 on them because, again, you're trying to push for offense to come back from a 3-goal deficit. But the next day, I thought it was a great response by the Barracuda. And this is, you see that maturity with guys coming into their second year, guys like Ethan Cardwell making an impact, and then having some of these veterans around like Ryan Carpenter, Nathan Todd, Scott Sabrin, like having some of these guys around who kind of seen it and done it a little bit. And you just see that maturity of being able to kind of, okay, we got shellacked on Friday night. Let's come back and kind of refine our game. And, yeah, the Barracuda did that, man. They put up 7, and it was a lot of the veteran guys kind of doing the work there. Justin Bailey looks like he's going to be an absolute like monster for the Barracuda this year. Was in on 3 of their points, if I recall correctly. Same thing with Castles. Had himself 2 primary assists and then a goal as well. And just like the Sharks are doing this without Tristan Robbins, right? Daniel Gushin really hasn't gotten going yet so far this season. Bordelot gets sent back down. And then if, Gannon LaRock gets healthy, like you can see the makings of a very fun Barracuda team, as they have that nice mix of veterans and young players too, especially guys like Gushin and Cole. Gushin and Co. And then when Robbins gets healthy, and then Ethan Cardwell, like MoMA does not look too big for him. He was outstanding both games this weekend. Had a primary assist on Friday night's game, had his first goal on Saturday, and just that Cardwell connection looks good so far. This Barracuda team looks looks like it's going to be a very fun team that is going to be very competitive in a lot of games. And they still have issues. The penalty kill, or the penalties is my big issue again. And then the penalty killing is something that they need to iron out. And yes, it's early in the season, and you're going to continue to work on that, especially since in the AHL they don't get too much training camp, right? That's an issue you're definitely going to have to work out. But I think the formulas there is going to be a tough team to play, and I thought the goaltending looked pretty solid too. The first game with Magnus Krona, the first couple goals were very good, high quality goals that he gave up. And then, you can only defend so long, I feel like, on those 5-minute majors, and things kind of got spiraled out of hand there. But there'll be better days for Magnus Krona. Georgi Romanov had a really, really solid, or really great debut on Saturday as well. Made some big saves. I think Krona maybe faced a little bit better quality, if that makes sense. But I thought Georgi Romanov, that's no slight to Romanov, I thought Romanov played really well. I think the team played in front of him a little bit better too, especially because I think Friday night there was a lot more kind of just shooting yourselves in the foot type of plays where the defensemen are just giving up, Royal Road passes to like just putting Romanov or putting Krona in really, really bad situations. And he bailed him out a couple of times, but again, you can only ask your goaltenders so much. But yeah, man, like this Cuda team is gonna be a fun, interesting team, and especially Tristan Robbins hasn't played yet, and they're gonna start to get some of these guys back. And I think Gushin on Saturday was really close to kind of getting his first goal and of the season. I think Gushin's still going to be a monster this year. So once that he gets going, I think that team's just going to make another big step. So overall, I say it's pretty, even though the Sharks lost on Saturday, I say it's pretty positive weekend in San Jose for what we're kind of expecting going into this year. So we'll be back tomorrow. We're going to maybe do a little stock up, stock down after the first kind of week of the season. What have we seen? Which players are kind of rising to the occasion, which players maybe got to worry about it a little bit here. We'll probably know a little bit more about the Vlasic injury and when he's going to get back. So, so make sure you guys are following along wherever you get podcasts. And of course, you can subscribe on YouTube as well. You can follow the show on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram at Locked On Sharks. You can follow me on Twitter at MyFryhole. And until tomorrow, bye, friends.